Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. Once again, this is Jeffrey Daniel coming to you from Abuja, Nigeria. Today is May 17th, 2022, according to that Gregorian calendar. You guys, I'm going to keep banging on that Gregorian calendar, and we finally decide to get it right for ourselves, you guys. I hope you all are doing well, taking care of yourselves, taking care of your loved ones. In another week, I'll be heading to the UK to commence the Shalimar 2022 UK tour. We're going to Portugal. This year is also going to take us over to Amsterdam as well as around the UK. So it's going to be a very exciting touring season, as long as these pandemics and things are held at bay and they contain these things and nothing changes in the schedule. So everything should be okay, you guys. And I got my new haircut over there in Mecca. So I've been wanting the sides taken off for a long time. So I got the sides and some of the back taken off, and it feels good. It feels lighter. It feels a lot lighter. So, So anyway, you guys, you know, some of my followers were asking if I was going to respond to the recent public mass shooting that took place in Buffalo, New York. Initially, I was already in the middle of composing another very important subject, but as events keep coming in so precipitously inundating, now I have to play catch up with America's latest public carnage spree. Now, this is my first commentary since I returned from Mecca, Saudi Arabia, from the Ramadan Umrah, and I was hoping to have a more peaceful subject to address, but this is America, and we're talking about America, you guys. And of course, when I say this, I'm not talking about where I'm at. I'm talking about the state of affairs that are going on in America. Now, for those of you who follow my commentaries, I like to get into the heart of the matters and not get tied up into sentiments and conjectures. But how can you not be sentimental seeing people being murdered wholesale for no apparent reason except for hatred? Of course, it boils my blood to see my own race, or any other race for that matter, being targeted and murdered just because who they were born to be. That should not be happening. So, my response takes us back to the origins and impetus of these despicable acts of carnage. And we have to be honest and call it what it is. It's nothing less than public carnage, you guys. Now, before I get started, I'd like to give my disclaimers. Anything I say, stand for, is not meant to be discriminative against any group of people, any individual, or any race of people. I am not a racist. I only bang on issues and topics. I don't like to bang on individual people unless you deserve it. You know that. And so this is how the story goes, you guys. I want to give my condolences to all of the families of the victims of the massacre in Buffalo, and their loved ones, friends, people who knew them, their acquaintances. The people in Buffalo are suffering right now. And I saw the mayor talking on TV the other night, and I saw another representative, and the guy was breaking down literally in tears. Why should our societies have to be like this? You're just going shopping, innocently just going shopping, and you wind up dead? You could be in a church, you could be at school, you could be at office. No place is sacred in America anymore. So we're going to get to this, you guys. And you know me, I like to get to the crux of things. I like to stay on the periphery of issues and get a bird's eye view and zoom in on really what's going on. And I told you, it's not about the what and the whys, what and the where and the how, sorry, but it's about the why. I like to get to the why these things are going on, okay? So the crux of the problem is America's refusal to remove firearms from its civilian population. That's it. Continuing to license and sell not just pistols, but military-grade automatic firearms and body armor. What in the hell is America grooming its citizens for? Now, before anyone starts barking about taking away our Second Amendment rights to bear arms, how many of you even know the origins of the Second Amendment? As I always say, this is the information age. Ignorance is a choice. Excuse me. Stop allowing your ignorance to justify your lack of intelligence. How to stop that? Read, research, dig it up, you guys, because it's there. All right. So there's no excuse anymore. No excuse, unless you just can't read. Unless you're, if you're blind, you got Braille. I think that's what they call it, in Braille or something. Excuse me. It's another hot day, as you see. I'm, cooling it off. Okay, so anyway, so, you know, the Second Amendment, and I want to see how many of you guys have even heard of this before. You're hearing it from JD if you never heard of it before. The Second Amendment was first implemented by Queen Elizabeth I in the late 16th century when she instituted a national militia. A national militia, okay? Keep that in mind. Keep that phrase locked in your mind. It was a national militia she was trying to form, in which individuals of all classes, were required to take up arms to help defend the realm. So we're not talking about loose cannon startup militia groups. Militia groups are extremist hate groups, are rogue citizens. It was for a national defense against foreign attacks. Even so, it's reported that her attempt failed miserably, and the ideology of the militia would be used as a public tool up into the 1800s. You see? So, for more than 2 centuries, lean in on this, you guys, for more than 2 centuries, there has been a consensus, tongue-tied, sorry, there has been a consensus among judges as well as scholars for the Second Amendment guaranteed only the right of individuals to defend their liberties by participating in a state militia. However, by the 20th century, the self-defense interpretation of the amendment had been adopted by a minority of judges. I didn't say law, I said interpretation. Then the self-defense view was also taken for granted by large segments of the American population, mainly because those who were opposed to having gun control laws. Does that sound familiar? Against having gun control laws. Those are the people who bucked against it. So, interpret it and take it for granted, not officially instituted. And why? Because in America during the 16th into the 20th centuries, the 16th into the 20th century, the European invaders, who conveniently described themselves as in history as pilgrims and discoverers, were in the business of decimating millions of native indigenous inhabitants and trying to maintain control over the population of enslaved captives that were brought over from Africa. Now, I know history is boring for a lot of people, but now you can see where the Second Amendment originated from and why it's still regarded as an integral part of the American Constitution. So now the NRA and an assortment of civilian, not national, civilian militia groups and individual gun lovers are crying for their rights to bear arms in their homes under the Second Amendment. So what we are seeing today with all these public mass shootings of innocent civilians is a result of, one, a misinterpretation of the Second Amendment, which allows citizens to bear arms. That was never supposed to happen. Number two, a continuation of the we are the minority in the population and we need to be prepared to quell any rebellion against us by the people we are oppressing. That's two. And number three, just plain old hate mongers going out to take matters into their own hands. If America is not willing to face reality and find a way to remove deadly firearms from the general public, it's only safe to say that America is welcoming many, many more public and domestic killings of innocent citizens, if not encouraging them. If they're not willing to step up and remove these guns from society, you guys, they're just welcoming this. They're welcoming it. And it's going to continue and continue as we're seeing. In fact, it's getting more exponentially higher in numbers rather than toning down. So let's continue, you guys. I'm going to talk about these hate killings. Now let's look at these hate killings. I want people to stop sugarcoating these murderous acts against innocent people. I hate all of these cute oxymoronic titles they attach to serious issues like social distancing and friendly fire and all that stuff. It's not a hate crime, it's a killing. It's a hate killing, which is a crime. So stop calling it, oh, it's a hate crime. There's no such thing as a hate crime. There is a hate killing. They're murdering people due to hate. which is a crime. Okay? So stop all these cute little titles, you guys, that they tag onto things. We have to be fair and unbiased and admit that the institution of slavery itself, the institution itself, wasn't built on hatred. It was an economic enterprise based on monetary and surplus good exchanges. However, the European version of slavery introduced a very barbaric and inhumane system of slavery that still affects our societies today. We have to go back there, you guys. We have to get into it because this is what's culminating into what's happening today. Okay? Trust me, follow me. Hate begets more hate. It is impossible to introduce hate and expect to produce love in return. Some victims may display an act of love or submission in order to avoid, the repercussions of the hate that someone has against them. They just might play the role, but they never love you. They're just trying to survive. That's all they're doing. They're just trying to survive. People, we are sentient beings, and we often act on emotions. Unfortunately, not all people can control their emotions, and for those who cannot control their emotions of anger, hate, or mental illness, plus they have access to firearms, they will eventually commit acts of violence to vent out their negative emotions. Minus the deadly firearms equals less wholesale killings of citizens. Easy mathematics, simple equation to arrive to, okay? All they have to do is remove these firearms from the society, and there will not be any more mass killings. But here we go, let's keep this going. Watching this on television, I want to talk about the big insult against particularly the black community. This guy, suited up in body armor, gathered all his weapons and drove to this predominantly black community. He walked through the parking lot and opened up fire. He shot 4 people, 3 of them succumbed to their wounds, walked in the store and commenced the shooting and killing 7 more. Let me tell you what was appalling to hear that. I think it was the supervisor or manager of the store. She fell to the floor and she heard the shooting going on and she could hear the guy walking around. She called 911 and she was whispering. And the 911 operator was saying, "Why are you whispering? Stop whispering." She said, "There's a man in here and he's killing people. He's opening up fire. He's in here now. He's getting close to me." The 911 operator got irate with the woman and said something to her that she can't remember and hung up in her face. So now the lady had to call her boyfriend and tell her boyfriend to call 911. Let's keep going, you guys. Let's follow what was going on. After this guy killed these people, when the authorities did get there, it's reported that he put the gun to himself and they talked him down from killing himself. And they arrested him. And he's only 18 years old. Now, for them to have arrested him and talked him out of it, okay, that's police procedure. That's what you want to do because you want to apprehend the suspect and get to, like, why is this going on? Because the only way you can stop things from happening is to understand why they happen. So I got that. So I'm not complaining for the fact that they didn't just roll up on him and kill him on the spot. Here's the point of contention. We have to be honest, you guys. We have to address the biggest insult and blatant disregard for people of color and their life in America, especially in America. How often do we witness the well-being and arrest of white American males after they had committed such heinous mass murders, still with the weapon in their hand and dead victims littered around them, but he's taken alive. Yet, lean with me, black unarmed citizens are shot dead on the spot. Black unarmed citizens are shot dead on the spot and have not even committed any crime or serious offense. Shot in the back while running from the police. Shot for reaching for their driver's license or to show their gun permit. shot for carrying a pellet gun off the shelves in a store that sells them to get it to the checkout counter. Shot dead at 12 years old for playing in a park with a toy gun in a public park and no one was even threatened. Shot dead for sleeping in your own home and the police suddenly burst in with no warrant, or they went into the wrong place. And the list goes on and on and on. I can't sit here. It's just a litany of all of these killings of black people by police, of innocent people. So when we compare the treatment of white killers to innocent black civilians, this cannot be a coincidence. It cannot be a coincidence. And for those of you who think so, okay, you know me, I'm gonna take you down the road. Let's look up the word coincidence. Coincidence, I'm gonna give you the definition of coincidence. Now, I know you guys understand its use, but let's look up its meaning, okay? A coincidence, a remarkable occurrence of events or circumstances without apparent causal connections. Without apparent causal connections. There should be no connection. Well, these killings of blacks, it's occurring and occurring and occurring and occurring. There is a connection. So now we can agree that the treatment of blacks is no coincidence because these killings keep reoccurring over and over again. So if they are not a coincidence, then they must be systematic. And for those of you who argue, there is no systematic racism, okay, let's look up the definition of systematic. And I'm not creating these definitions. These are the standard, generic dictionary definitions I'm giving you guys, okay? Here's what systematic means. Done or acting according to a fixed plan or system, methodically. Done or acting according to a fixed plan. A fixed plan or system, methodically. You be the judge. Are the killings of unarmed blacks by the police and extremists a coincidence or part of a system? Anything that happens so repetitively, anything that becomes common has to be a system. It can't be a coincidence because coincidences don't happen in, successions like that. Otherwise, it's not a coincidence. Now, all I have to ask you are people, what in the hell are you waiting for? What are we all waiting for? Do you think these people are going to suddenly just have an epiphany and wake up one day and change their barbaric behavior against us? Even if you are that blindly optimistic, what indication have they given us that they are even willing to change? What programs have they initiated to reform themselves? None. And it's going to continue and continue generation after generation as it has been continuing over the past generations after generations. Now, they have demonstrated over the years, over the decades and centuries, that this is their attitude towards us. This is their attribute. This is their propensity. These police killings of unarmed black and these public mass killings are not just going to just miraculously go away. Praying for them to stop will not alleviate it either. We have to mobilize our communities and make the government hear us and take these deadly weapons out of the hands of civilians, or the next mass killings may be visited upon you or someone dearly close to you that you love. And I pray that that doesn't happen. I really do. But what about the people in Buffalo? What about the people in all the other cities that these things are going on? It's like a Russian roulette. It's just only a matter of time that one day you're going to go to the supermarket. You're going to hear somebody opening fire. You're going to go out to a nightclub. You're going to hear somebody opening fire. You'll be sitting in a congregation in a church or a synagogue or in a mosque, and suddenly you're going to hear somebody opening up fire on you. It's only a matter of time because these people are not doing anything to curb it. Nowhere is safe. Nowhere is safe now. Not even a shopping center, not even an office, not a school, not a church, not a mosque, not a synagogue or a government building. Remember January 6, 2021. Not even the nation's capital was safe. Those people stormed in there. So, okay, put it like this. Make me angry. But without a firearm in my possession, I may cuss you out. I might even push you. We can throw hands at each other. Hell, I might even pick up a chair and knock you out. But it's impossible to shoot you without a gun. What more do we have to say about? I can talk about what happened that day, what went on, and this and that, and this and that, and keep talking about but it all boils down to the government stepping up and taking these guns away from the public, as other civilized countries don't have guns in their civilian society. What country wants guns, and especially military-grade weapons? Why are military-grade weapons in the hands of civilians? That's not making sense. Unless you're in Ukraine right now, and you remember in Ukraine, they had to arm them to protect themselves from the Russian invasion. They weren't just already armed, they had homemade Molotov cocktail bombs and these things that they had to put together until they brought in some arms for them to help defend themselves. So they weren't armed until it was a need to be armed. Look at America. And everyone thinks it's the land of the free. Yeah, it's free. It's free to do whatever you want to do, even if it can cost you your life. And, so I pray we don't have to revisit this topic ever again. I really do. I pray we don't have to revisit this topic again. But let's do more than pray. Let's force the American government to rid its citizens of these deadly firearms. Who cares if the Republican lawmakers in the NRA kicks and screams like the babies they are? At least we will live longer. And that's all that matters, you guys. Now, I wanted to come to you guys with something a little more spiritual, a little, but I had to address this because I'm sitting here, I'm seeing these people suffering. All the suffering that's going on. We're looking at the people suffering over in Ukraine. We're looking at the people suffering in Syria. We're looking at the people suffering all over the world, in Haiti. We're looking at the sufferings everywhere, you guys. I mean, this is like getting like I don't know what this planet is turning into. This world system that they created, it's falling apart. It's falling apart. Remember I told you guys before, watch how things are going to heat up, and the heat is already heating up. Fires are already breaking out. Each summer becomes a more record-breaking summer heat wave. Watch what's going to happen in the ensuing months that are about to come, you guys. Watch, keep your eyes on the news. We're going into the age of Aquarius, and things are heating up. And we're going to invite those of you who are vibrating on that frequency of enlightenment and spirituality, you will ascend to that higher plane. That don't mean like you're going to like go up into heaven and something like that, but we're going to be into the higher plane of consciousness and spirituality. Those of you who are down here just worried about who's naked on the red carpet and stealing this from this person and invading people and killing people, massacring, decimating nature, decimating human lives, you guys are going to be left. You guys are going to be left. You guys are going to be left. I spoke about this in a lot of other videos, you guys, but this I want to keep short because this is not what I really planned on coming in with. But I had to address this because it's something that's so close to my heart and so close to home. And I'm saying, even if it was the Asian community, if it was the Jewish community, if it was the Caucasian community, it doesn't matter what community it is, but I am a member of the Black community, and to see something that close to home just happen like that, you guys. And to hear the backstories. One man was in the military, or he served in the police, and he retired. So he's just being an armed guard, just making some extra wage money. And he was there. He had his arm, and he fired back, but this kid was wearing body armor. So the kid outshot him, and he killed the guy. A 77-year-old lady who's a part of her community. She used to feed people in her community. She died, she passed away. When you read some of the backstories of the people who passed away, which they're still coming in, so I haven't heard everything, but it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. So the only answer, the only thing is, the American government has to take these weapons away from its citizens. Any other conversation is redundant. It doesn't matter. It's the only solution. It's the only solution. So you guys, give me your perspective, give me your feedback. You guys, I love it when you guys, every subscriber is a gift, every viewer is a blessing. I appreciate all of you. Everyone, I do not take one viewer for granted. Excuse me, and you guys know that. So please give me your feedback. and let me know what you think about this. Hopefully the next time I come to you guys, I'll have a more juicier topic and things that are going on. Not all of this just hate and all this dismal news and killings, public killings. If you want to die, if that's your choice, go die. But do you have to take innocent lives with you? Or if you've got a problem about something, about your job or anything like that, do you have to take innocent lives? Everybody's going to die anyway, so dying is not like some unusual event. We will all eventually make that transition someday. So why speed it up? What's the point of speeding it up? It's going to happen anyway. Whether you want it to or not, it's going to happen. If it's sooner, if not sooner, it's going to be later. So what's the point, So I don't know, you guys. I'm just doing my part to help spread the love. I'm trying to make love great again and trying to take you guys back to the world, because if we don't take it back to the world, this world is on the collapse. This world is teetering on its collapse. Watch what's happening. Watch what's happening. Okay? Take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. Depression is real, so check in on people and make sure that they're not being depressed. If you've lost anyone since the last time we spoke, I offer my sincere condolences. If any of you have fallen ill and you're recovering, I pray for your recovery. And let's take care of each other. In another week, I'll be in the UK, commencing with the Shalimar tour. So I'll see all of you guys over there in the UK when I get there. And wow, what else can I say, you guys? So I don't know what to say anymore, you guys. It's heartbreaking. It's truly heartbreaking. America's public carnage. And it's going to continue unless the government takes these guns away from people. And remember what I told you about the Second Amendment, where it even came from. It's a misinterpretation that civilians thought that they had the rights to bear arms. No, only if you were part of the national militia to protect your nation. And somehow they got it misconstrued. And now these people feel, well, we have a Second Amendment. We have the right to bear arms. That's America. That's America. Check it out, you guys. As I say, always fact check me, and you guys can check it out for yourselves. I love taking you guys on these excursions of information and helping you guys understand things that you may not have already known. And if you already did know, good for you, and keep spreading the good information, okay? All right. Take care, you guys. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.